Welcome back to another video. Today I will show you my investment portfolio that is sitting around right now in with 75,338. So if we recall the last video on the last week, my total account value was around $74,050. So you can see an increase of more than 1,000. And on the last Friday, even though the stock market went down, my portfolio went up for 0.11%, not that much, but it wasn't negative. Like if we go here and we take a look at the SPY, so it's negative 0.35%. So that was on July 11. So now let's come back over here. So as I said, my portfolio is showing gains in this week, and it's because of the SPY. The stock market in general is going up. It's been going up for the last few weeks, and we can see that in the chart on the weekly chart, because that's usually what I use to just find out where the stock market is gonna head. And I told you before that if the stock market crosses this resistance line, then we'll see a more an uptrend direction of the stock market. So that's why it happened. So that's why I increased my position in some cheap stocks, not on the ones that already have too much gains. I'm not gonna keep adding more. But I switch or not switch. I just pretty much focus my attention into those cheap stocks, and I bought some of them, especially Apple. Like I remember that I explained that before. Like Apple was really cheap, so you can see also the weekly that is changing from the red to the green area. So that means that it has potential to keep going up. That's why I bought it in a low price around 200, and now I have my gains, and I'm gonna keep my stocks. Um, and something that I also notice is that the SPY, even though it's going up, I explained before that that is showing on the weekly chart. But if we take a closer look on the monthly, it seems that it reached the same peak on the last bull market before it hit the bear market on the 2022. So you remember well, on the 2022, around January, it reached the highest. It was all-time high at the time, and then went down for about more than 20%. Just let me double check. Yes, you see 25% down. So I'm not saying that it's gonna go down tomorrow or the next week. I'm just saying that at some point the stock market has to go down. It can be a correction, it can be a bear market. I don't know yet, but it has reached all-time highs, and soon we'll get a correction or a bear market. And I'm just getting ready for that moment. I'm building cash so I can fund my account, or I can just buy more stocks that are gonna be cheap at the time. I can expect that it must happen at the end of August or September, when we're gonna hit the correction. So far, I think that we're gonna keep getting more gains the whole month of July, because it seems that the stock market is still showing potential um, for more upward direction. And this is the monthly, and I also mentioned before that it seems like a bubble, but we don't know yet when it's gonna burst this bubble. Now weekly, as I said, it's still showing potential for more upward direction and more gains. And if we're gonna hit a correction, a small correction, or just uh, reach again to the resistance line, which now is a support line, it might go down for about almost 1.5% and then keep going up again. So it will look more maybe something like this. It goes down and then it goes up again. But this is the time when you need to be cautious when you're gonna get more stocks, if that is your idea to get some stocks. On the daily, it's nothing clear for me. It's just, as I said, it might reach the resistance line, which now is a support line, but nothing clear. Mostly on the weekly, on the monthly is the one that gives you an idea. So now let's go back to my portfolio. You can see that still those that are about 3% are Nvidia and TSM. Uh, Mostly those are my highest stocks that I have on my portfolio, Nvidia and TSM. Those have gains of 40% and almost 60% respectively. Then between 2 and 3% are Broadcom, BLDR, Apple, Coin, ASML, Salesforce, and Microsoft. All these stocks have gains so far, as you can see right now. Microsoft with a 26%. Salesforce, I mean, it's negative, but not that much, not even 1% down. Then we have ASML 1.77%. Then we have Coinbase 80, almost 80%, getting just really soon getting the 80%. Then we have Apple 7% up. I told you I got a really cheap price. I explained that also in the last video. BLDR, one of the stocks that I had like a 6% down for about 2 weeks, and I told you I believe that this stock I got in a really cheap price, and it got really cheaper, but I wasn't looking to get more into that stock because I already have enough on my portfolio. Between 2 and 3% is the most that I wanted on that stock. And then I have Broadcom on 70% up. So then we have below 2% and 1%. And those stocks are right now Google, Meta, Uber, Chipotle, Robinhood. Uh, this is a BICI, a real estate stock, American Express, NG Holdings, Mara, Next Era Energy, Amprius Technologies, and the Semiconductor, Grab Holdings, and Nevius Group. All this is about 1% and below 2%. Now, almost all these stocks has green values, has gains, and Nevius has 30% up, in the Semiconductor 3% up, and I might keep adding a little more into this stock, which is a semiconductor in I'm sorry, this is 6% down, sorry, for indie. I'm gonna keep adding maybe in September and August when we hit a correction. But so far I think that is good enough for me to just keep my position onto this particular stock. Then I have double my money, more than double, on Amprius Technologies and MPX, 134% up. Then I have, before I move on to the next one, usually this stock was one of the ones that is below 1%, and it's because it's a risky stock, and usually when I try to involve any risky stock into my portfolio, I just put 0.5%, not even 1%. So if this stock has gains, then I might keep adding a little more, but not even close to the 1%. So technically, reaching the 1% or even going above 1% on my portfolio, it means that it had too much gains, and you can see it right here, 134% up that I didn't even need to put more money into this one. I could I could at some point put more money and then I would have more gains. But as I said, usually on risky stocks I just put between 0.5% to almost 1% if I see that it has too much potential to go up. Nexera Energy, this is a energy stock. I had it before. Right now, 30% up. Mara Holdings, 1.52% up. Great gains. It's a crypto stock. And you, 18% up. Uh, Pretty similar with Robinhood. Just this particular stock or company is on South America and Central America. So that's why it's getting good gains right now, because also it's in the financial and investment field. Then AXP or American Express, I love this stock, 30%. Real estate stock, this one for BICI, almost 12%. Robinhood, 173%. It beat uh, almost, it beat my gains on AMPX. I used to have more. I remember I told you in the last, probably 3 videos ago or 2 videos ago, that I sold just maybe 30% of my holdings or 20%, not that much, just to keep some gains, because there was uncertainty if it's gonna keep going up or down. And I'm not mad. I'm not even just changing my idea if I should sell it or not. I'm still with the idea that whenever you feel that you need to, that you don't have certainty if it's gonna keep going up, at least take some gains. It's not gonna affect your portfolio that much. And then we have CMG or Chipotle, 9% up. Uber, almost 50% up. And Meta, 40% up. Now those stocks below 1%, we have it over here. We have Soundhood, 14% up. OKA, another energy stock, 7% down. Yes, almost 7% down. And also we have OPTT, 17% up. Hubs, 5% down. And this is another stock that I would like to talk about it, because Hubs has potential to keep going up. It's in a really cheap price. It might go a little down, a little more. I don't know, but if that is the case, it has too much potential to go up. You can see that right now is hitting previous lows. I'm sorry, it's hitting it's almost hitting previous lows. So you wanna reach and getting a better price, you might hit it in 474. I'm not sure it's gonna hit that value, but it has too much potential to reach all-time highs again. That's why I put some positions into that particular stock. Then PGR, this is an insurance company, 9% down. Not worry about it. As I said, it's below 1%. Now this is another stock that I would like to talk about. Is Canon. Is a stock that on the weekly chart you can see that is showing potential to go into the greens values. Right now, my objective is that this particular stock crosses this previous support line, but now it's a resistance line. So if it crosses, then it has too much potential to go up. And the reason why, as I said, the indicators are showing, both of them RSI and MACD, that is, it reached lows, all-time lows, and now it has potential to go up. And if we take a look, this is how we lose the chart for this particular stock. Why? Because this is a mining company into crypto, and usually it has cycles that can reach as high as $35 to almost $40, and that wasn't when Bitcoin or crypto in general reached the all-time highs in 2022 almost. So that's why it hit too much. Now, am I expecting that it's gonna hit that much? I don't think so. However, it can reach these highs on the 2021, that is right here, on the 11. Now, if you see the potential on the 11, that means that from this value right now, it can go from here as much as 14% up. I mean, 1,438% up, but it's like a 15 times the value. And if that is not the case, let's say that it doesn't hit that much, it still have all, and it has different all-time highs on 2024 of 3.2, 3.40, no, 3.30 cents, which is almost 370% up, and that is a return of 4 times whatever you are investing right now. But that is my personal opinion. As I said, this is a stock that is way risky. That's why it's below 1% of my portfolio. I bought it in a low price, around 0.6. So that's why I'm just gonna stick with that stock, because it's showing me the indicators that it has potential to go up, and also that the cycle of crypto, it doesn't even reach the highs, because we haven't even get on the peaks of the crypto cycle. So that's why I already put some involvement. I put some money into this stock, and I'm gonna keep adding more if I see that it crosses the resistance line. Then I have KULR, almost 12% down. Tesla, almost 6% down, almost 7% down. But not worried about, as I said, below 1%. So then we have UNH, 11% up, and these are my stocks below 1%. So technically, what I can just say from now is that HABs and CAN, these are the stocks that I see potential to go up. But as I said, it's just my personal opinion based on my analysis on the charts, and that these stocks are right now on a cheap value. Just a personal opinion, not a financial advice. So now we can scroll down. We have now the ETFs with Bitcoin or ARKB, Bitcoin ETF, 20%, more than 20% up, because Bitcoin keeps going up in the last few days. TLT or Bond ETF, almost 6% down. SOXL, a semiconductor ETF, I just made it to more than 40% up. BixY, 34% down, but it's just 3% of my portfolio right now. I'm just getting some involvement if we see any correction, and just to not see any decrease or losses excessively during a day. And the reason why is because, also as I explained, I got my portfolio on Friday was 0.11 up. It was in the green, and even though the stock market was red. Why? Because I have big Y exposure, and that helped me to offset any losses on that day. Now, if we take a look, I have also my cash still there, sitting with $30,000, which represents 17% of my portfolio, and that makes a total of 75,338, more than 1,000 since the last week. And that is pretty much my stocks on my investment portfolio. And the performance of my portfolio right now is almost 17% up, almost there, and I hit another all-time high. This is a new all-time high for me, 75,342. With 17% up, almost 17% up. How much it was the stock market, the SPY, is right now 11.36. Let's say 11 minus 17, 6% of difference, or maybe less of 6% of difference, but still I'm beating the stock market, and I'm glad that my portfolio is doing really well. So that's pretty much for today's video. So just to make a short summary, as I said, there are potential to keep going up for July, the whole month of July, but there's gonna be a point. It can be at the end of August or on September that we're gonna see a correction. And my two stocks that I'm taking a look right now is HUBS and CAN. These two stocks, HUBS and CAN, these are the stocks that I'm thinking about it if I'm gonna keep adding more into my position. And that's it. Thank you so much for joining this video, and I'll see you the next time. Bye.